I'd like to thank the living room for having us out here. This is going to be a great, great place, man. I can already feel it here. So I'm going to start with, I'm in the best shape of my entire life. And that's pretty terrifying for a guy who's got this face, because it's the face of a man who knows exactly which gas station has the best ale, donuts. Now, for about 50 years, I was a doughboy. I was so fat that my knees put out a restraining order on my gut. I was like proofing in a way, like a sumo wrestler with a yeast infection in his stomach. I rose to 350 pounds. And trust me, nobody was rising to this occasion, especially women. No looks, no nothing. And here's the funny part of this, right? Because back in the 80s, we were all raised up on cereal and cartoons. And every morning, Tony the Tiger bursts through my TV, and let's face it, Tony's not a mascot. Tony's a sugar cartel kingpin. That cat has the energy of someone who just snorted a 100% pure sugar cane sugar. Watch me repeat myself as I forget the lines there. It's almost like I should practice this a little more. So anyways, every morning Tony would burst through my TV and he'd grab me by the collar with that sour milk breath and say, "Listen, Ho, one more taste of the sweet stuff, Dan. Do it for the tiger." And I'd be screaming, "Listen, you striped son of a bitch, I am not your hoe." But I was a 350-pound serial concubine, turning tricks for a cartoon cat. So one day I said, screw it. I ended up getting a gastric bypass. And I dropped down to 200 pounds. And I felt like a Greek god. But here's the kicker. When you get a gastric bypass, you gain that weight back. And I rose up to 250 pounds again. And I said, all right, this is enough. I said, no more. I stopped following the government's food pyramid, the whole thing where in 2011, Congress passed a law saying for schools, pizza counts as a vegetable. And I'm like, all right, enough of that. I flipped this thing upside down. I started hitting the gym like it owed me rent money. And now I'm down to 195. Now, I don't have abs you can grate cheese on, but I do have abs you could gently maybe rub cottage cheese on. So with that going on, I lose the weight, I'm shrinking down, and my confidence with the ladies is absolutely terrible still. But here's the funny thing here. I have zero confidence with the ladies, and my friends at work are all ladies. And now I thought a men's locker room was savage with all the confidence castration going on there. No. You women are savages. One day a friend of mine goes, "Hey Dan, do you even remember where the hole is?" And I froze. I'm like, well, listen. The car still purrs, but it hasn't left the garage in 10 years since my divorce. I mean, hell, at this point, I probably need a search and rescue dog, a local guide, just to find the right zip code. And even then, I'm showing up at the wrong house, knocking on the back door. It's not going to be perfect. As a matter of fact, I'd be like a caveman who just discovered fire. I'd be holding it wrong, burning myself, screaming, "Where do I put this?" And here's the real savagery of you women. My friend says, "Hey Dan, if you do get lucky, I got a condom for you." And she threw this at me. Now I stopped and I said, "You're being a little generous there." But you know, it works. It works. So with getting older and all the craziness that's going on with my life, I decided I'm going to start getting tattoos. But not normal tattoos. I get tattoos on the inside of my thigh. Kind of like a hash mark of a tattoo. Because what I'm doing is I'm actually tracking the slow, humiliating descent of the boys in the basement. They're going from penthouse suite to basement apartment. You know, it's funny. Every time I go to sit, get on a tractor, I'm not checking for tire pressure or oil pressure. I'm checking to make sure my ass cheeks aren't having nuts for lunch. I mean, hell, at my age, by the time I'm 60, they're going to have their own HOA, traffic lights. And by the way, I hear the HOA president, he's a real dick. But here's the double standard. You ladies can just reach into your blouse, adjust the ladies anytime you want, and no one blinks an eye. But if I, just once, standing at Starbucks, reach in to adjust the boys, I've got her calling, "Cold hazelnuts. We have a cold hazelnuts in the lobby." Next thing you know, I'm on the 6 o'clock news. Local man arrested for scrotal recalibration. You know, in the end, what it's really like, it's like watching an aging rock band on a reunion tour. You see the truth, but you remember the youth. Thank you guys. Thanks, Living Room. Appreciate it. Very much.
All right, well, thank you so much. Another round of applause for all the comedians.
Yeah!
June 6th, they will be performing at the Oasis Lounge, the Lard Pudding Players for stand-up comedy. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break.